She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. She turned black. So
you have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort.
Nick Fuentes, well, hold on. Trump has had dinner with hundreds of white supremacists. She's just referring to Nick Fuentes here.
Why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
This is the first direct engagement with Donald Trump from a journalist that I will not call journalistic malpractice. Thank you, NABJ. You know? There's no, any pretense of neutrality, like, gives credence to the idea that this guy should be treated fairly. You know, well, I guess I should say fairly treating him is unfairly treating him, if that makes any sense. Like, treating him neutrally and treating him fairly are very different.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner.
Such a nasty woman.
You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And
wow, and already right off the bat, there's no reason for him to be here. Literally, he came here in an attempt to appeal to black voters because they don't want to lose Georgia. Right off the bat, she opens with, the man does not have a diplomatic bone in his body. She pressures him just a little bit. Instantly, he's like, okay, whatever. I'm just here to argue with people.
I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this.
I shouldn't pause every time he says something funny. We're never going to get through the video.
Mr. President, I would love
I think it's a very nasty question. I have answered the question. I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act.
And for you to start off a question and answer period in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including...
This is perfect. The only people this appeals to are white people who enjoy watching Donald Trump talk down to black people. And all of those people are already voting Trump, 100% of them. This is not at all to the benefit of the broader electorate. I can tell you that much.
Coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr.
they're taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, and they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling
80, 90, 100, 20, 100 billion, a billion people, the entire population of the planet, folks. They're all coming up through the southern border, okay? They're all getting squeezed out into El Paso.
Many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries.
Have you seen the people speculating that the reason Donald Trump has been insanely fixated on the rhetoric, that there are like Colombian insane asylums, like Arkham Asylum, it like breaking loose and coming up, is because he doesn't know what political asylum is? Like asylum seekers. And then he's like, oh, like Arkham. Because this is new, much like the migrant crime wave rhetoric, which was only invented a little less than a year ago. The rhetoric of them coming up from insane asylums, a thing that is not happening, that might be it. That might be why.
Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions.
See, he says it in every speech now, multiple times in every speech. It's a shame that debates aren't a real thing anymore, and nobody does debates because people on the right all know they're lying, so they know there's no point in trying to defend their beliefs with a debate. But I would really like to see any of them explain away the mental asylum claim. Like, where is that? Like, can somebody play? I would just like to see a right-winger attempt to explain that.
And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be
down. Our crime rate is going down by quite a bit. In 2023, it dropped significantly. It's down this year as well. That's something that's demonstrably false, right? When has something being demonstrably false ever had any impact on whether Republicans say it confidently?
I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live
This is an issue, by the way, and this is where blue pantsuit lady stands, you know, and serves and so on and so forth. They really need to just insult him. You can't let Trump get away with these insane 70 million illegal immigrants. Crime is going up. They're coming in from insane asylums. You can't just let him say shit like that without going like everything you said's factually wrong, repeating it as many times as you like doesn't make it correct. You like you have to push back on it directly.
We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy.
We are already energy independent in terms of our like imports versus exports. The reason that we're not functionally energy independent is because of shenanigans.
I would say it was one of the worst debates in history, and his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight. A prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing where you say, let's bring in another fighter.
You actually can do that. He's so bitter about having to run against Kamala. Oh, 100%.
This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where I have a hostile judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
Excuse me, you're the one that held me up for 35 minutes, just so you understand.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign.
The reporter is doing what you wanted, only to an extent. I know there are probably limits to how mean they can be given the circumstances and the organization and I'm sure there's a lot of like specifics that I don't know. But like, man, it genuinely is crazy how Donald Trump can just do the whole, they're sending 50 trillion rapists and, you know, insane asylum escapees over the border, and that just goes completely unchallenged, you know? My standards are too high when it comes to holding people to account in a live audience setting.
Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now you have illegal aliens coming into our country, many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it.
See, she should be pushing much more aggressively against this, too. Like, no. When you won in 2016, you said 3 million illegals voted. You did a study. None were, like, you did an investigation. You were able to find no instances of voter fraud. Like, where is this evidence, you know?
But I cannot understand what you're saying.
So what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic.
Did Trump just grab her water? Yes.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
J.D. Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. He, you know, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, well, I mean, my point
is
here.
It was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the death. I think it's death of a baby after the baby is born, based on.
So hold on. Not only is this not an answer to the question, it's actually a reassertion of the question's premise, because the question was, do you feel like you're getting too judgy, you're meddling too much in people's lives? And his response is, I think we need to meddle in people's lives more because, you know, people are allowed to get an abortion.
Sir, that's
governor
illegal
of Virginia,
in every state in the country.
Based on the governor of Virginia, they're allowing the death of the baby after it's born. They're allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well, Democrats have denied.
I think they're right.
After it's born, they're allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th. But what does that even mean? What? Folks, they're inducing early birth and then they're aborting the early birth.
If you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally.
Here's the question.
He's shot.
Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would?
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage
Make
like
him
this
draw
and I
a
got
clock.
treated so rudely as this woman treated
Oh my
me,
goodness.
and I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a nasty. That wasn't a.
Remember when journalists used to be firebrands, man? It's just like crazy to me because they could ruin Trump if the woman in blue literally just said, "Why are you such a bitch?" I know, but we're playing for high stakes here, man. Like, come on, he's such a baby. He's such a petty baby.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
Thank you.
Anything you.
I think they should have gone harder, but this is still pretty disastrous for him. Literally nobody who wasn't already going to vote for him like this. And folks, I don't want this to be taken the wrong way. Some of you, I can see it, you know, you race baiters, you clip chimpers, you're going to say, oh, he's making disparaging comments about the black electorate. Well, I make these comments about the entire electorate. I just want to make it clear. The average voter in America of any race is a moron. And I think that it benefits us to see direct, I would say intimate examples of Donald Trump talking down to and being rude to a black woman. Black women are kind of like the mortar that holds together the bricks of American democracy, folks. I'm just saying, they put the fucking work in.